Guys, so this is the third lick of the course. We have lots more to cover still, but I really like this one. It doesn't sound out because it isn't, but it uses and abuses the the fourth interval, right? And why I chose to do this? Well, I really love how it sounds in the repertoire. I hear a lot. So, for example, again, Allan Holdsworth uses this interval a lot. You need a little bit of opening, stretching, you know, I mean, with your fingers, right? You get that fourth on one string. And but it's totally worth it. I found it more comfortable usually. I mean, to play at fast speeds and legato. To play like this, playing legato with like this is it's a bit harder, and in my opinion, well, it's not that worth it. Maybe like playing like that. I would rather play like this, you know, with string skipping. But well, I digress. The lick starts, well, it's thought as, I mean, sounds really good on A minor 7, right? So that would be starting on the E. But I really like to play this kind of chords over major chords. In this case, that would be C major 7. We will be starting on the third, right? That's E. And then we play A on the same string, on the fifth string. Legato, right? Tapping, hammer on. So we're playing then, we are thinking C, which I love to do. We have the third and the 13th in that fourth interval. Then we play the 7th of the chord, which is the note B, right? And it makes a nice, like I was telling you on the previous lick. I like the combinations of wide intervals combined with the small ones. So in this case, we have a fourth, that's a big one, and then we have a second, right? A small one, and then from here we play a third, which is the 9th of C, right? That's note D. So we have a fourth interval. I'm speaking melodically here, right? So it's still the third of the chord, the 13th of the chord, but both make a fourth interval. Right. So then we have the 7th of the chord, which makes a second, major second, from the last note that was A. And now we have a minor third. So we already have, and the notes we're playing, different intervals all the time, right? This is quite refreshing, and it takes us away from that kind of scale playing, you know, like when you practice a lot of scales and not phrases and licks, you end up sounding exactly like that, like a scale. So people improvise like that. For me, there is nothing more boring than that. And a way to avoid it is to play lots of different intervals in your melody. So this pattern is really, really, really nice. And I call it a pattern because I will tell you why. But first, let's also learn the licks. So you have that fourth interval, right? Then that second, the third there, with the first finger on the third string. which is the 9th of the chord, right? And then from the 9th, we jump to the 5th of the chord, which is G here, with the 4th finger on the 3rd string, 12th fret, right? So we have a 4th again. So we have a 4th there, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. So we again have a different interval than the previous one. And it's a very symmetric shape, look. So you play this on this string, one note on the next one, and the same as you played before here. So you can also not play that note and have another 4th there. So 4th, 4th. Right? But I like to include that note for that, how do you say, intervallic richness. So we have that. And the lick. And then we go back. And we go back again up, but a second. So we have this. Right? We go back again. And we do that. It's the same note, but I really like that sound. Again, Holdsworth did that a lot, right? Like, repeating notes, but on different strings. That's the whole lick. I just pick it down and then up again. And then string skipping, and the same 4th, we will play it from the 7th of the chord, which is B, to the 3rd of the chord, which is E. So both guide tones, right? The 3rd and the 7th. Again, slow. I told you before, it sounds really good over E also, right? It sounds like an E sus chord, because instead of playing the 3rd, we're playing the 4th, right? But here, that's the 3rd. So again, we have the jump from the 7th of the chord on the 3rd string, which is D, right? And the 3rd of the chord. So both guide tones are being played one after the other. That anchors the harmony. Right? So that's a nice, you could call it, well, it is actually a nice arpeggio shape for the sus chord. In one of the octaves, and the second one you have the minor 3rd, so that's really, really cool, in my opinion. Right? So you can combine it with the pentatonic there from E. See? And now we change to the quartal mode. So this is the shape I was telling you about. Well, you probably guessed it already. It's this one. But not, usually I also add a couple of notes. So I go like this. Right. In the case, if we are thinking C major, I like this because this is a sharp 11. Right. So keep that shape in mind. The whole shape in my head goes like this. So those notes, just one there, that, and then on the 2nd string you can add this one. So we have, right, oh, and also this one if we're thinking C. It sounds really nice, I love it. Right? So practice that one. I really enjoy it, and it has this nice modern sounding or more. Well, I don't like to say modern because this sound is already has been so established already in the fusion repertoire. So it's not modern, but really necessary and refreshing. Also, it allows you to go from the third scale bluesy kind of sound to the more sophisticated quartal one, and it's actually easy to execute and to remember too. So it's a little lick I like you to practice. It's really cool. As I said, you can also practice it actually on A minor and B minor. B minor sounds really good too. So you start on the E note, that's the 11th already from B. That would make it sound like a minor 11th chord. Right. And actually you stop there. It's the 11 again, so it's actually outlining that harmony quite really good. So I would recommend to you, for example, play the lead and then play the E pentatonic. Right? Then you play the again. And play the B pentatonic. So it sounds really good. You can start with the pentatonic, or those two notes from the pentatonic. And then you go with the, and then back to the pentatonic. Sorry. Right? So it depends on you, but those are pretty nice options. Actually, you can play it on any, specifically in this position, you can play it on any chord of the G major scale, for example, and the C major scale. If you add the sharp 11, well, then you're strictly talking G major scale modes. But if you're playing also in C major with notes of C major and suddenly you hear the C major chord, then you can add the sharp 11 and it sounds even better. That note sounds always good on major chords. You won't risk the effect of modulating and escaping the key. You will be just coloring the chord in a nicer way. And actually that could be maybe called outside, but actually it's not. We are too used to hear the sharp 11 over major chords. So yeah, practice that lick, move it around. Oh, the other thing I wanted to tell you about this is about specifically this one. So you already know this is working really nicely on a minor chord, right? So there's no really forbidden tension there or whatnot. So actually, you can repeat this very same shape over all minor chords of the G major scale, for example, of the relative modes, right, of the G major scale. So then you have E, right? That's the third degree from G. And on the second degree, right? Sorry, we're thinking. Sorry, no, it's okay. On A, so you can combine them, and that's really cool. Like you have it on A minor, like second degree of G, right? And so you go like this. So this is the same lick, starting on the sixth string, but then you move it on up to the E. So we have this combination, and that sounds really cool. I mean, I freaking love it. and on B, of course. So you can go like this. And it starts to sound really interesting, and actually you are just playing notes from C major. See how important these little intervallic groupings are, this selection of notes from any given scale to create music. You don't have to play all the notes of a scale. In this case we are doing it, but we are grouping them in a very specific order, right? This fourth, second, third, fourth interval. You can do really cool things. Right? I love that for me. And I'm just repeating the shape, right? B, E, A. Sorry. Well, yeah, it's really fun. So practice that shape, practice that lick, move it around. As I said, first start with the minor chords that are related to the key you're playing at. So if you're thinking again C, G major, you will play it on B. That's a third degree, right, from G. The third, the second, that was A, and the sixth degree, which is E. The same if you want to play it on C major, then you can play it on starting on D, which is the second degree, right? On the third, which is E, you already know that, and the sixth, which is A. So yeah, it's a really useful lick shape, and it freshens up your entire sound. So I wanted you to learn it. See you in the next one. The fourth lick? Yeah, it's the fourth lick. Bye guys.